Hello and welcome to the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast. This is episode 140. My name is Eric Herlock. I am your host and producer of this show, and soon I will be going on a crazy epic road trip with my family around the country to visit hemp farms and businesses and talk to the pioneers and the visionaries in this hemp industry. Going to be talking about fiber and grain mostly. It's very exciting. And so today's show is the audio from yesterday's big send-off event at the Penn State Research Farm in Manheim, Pennsylvania. It's Lancaster County. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Alyssa Collins at the Penn State Farm for all of her hard work and the hard work of her team and all of the volunteers. It really just went so smoothly. It was blisteringly hot, but it was great. So many familiar faces and a lot of my favorite people in the Pennsylvania hemp space were all there. So it had, a joyous feel to it yesterday. And, from my perspective, it's all very surreal. I am absolutely grateful for these opportunities that have been presented to me. But wow, it's dreamlike, and I could have never imagined any of this in my wildest dreams when I started this podcast almost 3 years ago. It just goes to show that one tiny idea, nurtured with love and hard work and, bringing people together, it can make a difference. And so, yeah, that's what I want to do in the hemp industry too, because I want the hemp industry to grow and flourish and become more than just the hemp industry, but I want it to become the building industry, the manufacturing industry, the food industry, all of our industries, right? That's where I'm coming from. So anyway, a quick thanks to our sponsors for this tour. The National Hemp Association, New Holland Agriculture, IND Hemp, Rosedowns, Americhanvre Hemp, Terradon Hemp, and King's Agriseeds. Thank you all very much for your sponsorship. Could not be doing this without you. Yeah, so we're going to just drop into this audio, and then at the end, afterwards, I'm going to read the response from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture concerning those cease and desist letters that their department sent out to some CBD growers. So stick around for that. And just real quick, this is sort of a news nugget / public service announcement / bad news. I know I like to keep it positive, and I don't like to talk down about anybody or anything, but I'm getting word about some of a festival that I guess was held over this past weekend here in Southeastern Pennsylvania. It was called the Pennsylvania Hemp Festival, and it was run by a woman who was actually on this show a couple of years ago by the name of Jessie Johnson from Purple Peace, and her associate Tim Phelan. Apparently there were vendors who paid excessive amounts of money to be at this so-called festival. They were promised attendance of 10,000 people, and it was going to be this wonderful, marvelous hemp and cannabis festival, and it was sort of a bust, and it seems like it was just kind of a scam from the start. So I'm just reporting on that, and if anyone was there, either a vendor or an attendee, and you want to tell me your side of the story, would love to hear it. Send me an email to podcast@lancasterfarming.com. This industry is only as good as our worst actors, right? Is that true? I'm not sure. We've got so many great people in this state doing excellent work, and I want to focus on that. But it's really just irritating and difficult when there's some shysters out there. So that's it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, back to the sunshine. So anyway, we're going to get into the audio from yesterday's send-off event at the Penn State Research Farm. So here we go. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our send-off event. Thank you all for being here. This is a very surreal yet wonderful day. So as you all know, we're going to be going on a road trip and we're starting it here at the Penn State farm. So thank you to Penn State for having us. And we thought we would just sort of talk about the Pennsylvania hemp industry and community a little bit, because I think we have something special here in Pennsylvania. And just as I've been covering the industry for the past 3 years, I'm just overwhelmed with the community that is just there for each other. It's really amazing to see how everyone works together, from, the policy to industry to media. We're all kind of in this together, because I believe we all believe the same thing, that agriculture is important. It's got to be part of the solution for the future that we want to build. And hemp is just a really elegant solution for a lot of our issues. So please, round of applause for our guest. We have Erica Stark, and it's not about me. This isn't about me. I know it might look like it is, but it's not. Erica Stark from the National Hemp Association, Geoff Whaling from the National Hemp Association, Dr. Alyssa Collins from Penn State, Mark Lowery from New Holland Agriculture, and Secretary Redding from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture. So thanks for being here, everybody. And we'll just sort of go down the line a little bit. So whatever you want to say. It's sort of an open mic. Do you sing?
You make me go first.
Yeah. This is Erica Stark from the National Hemp Association.
Well, thank you. Very excited to be here. A little bit warm. But it is definitely nice to be out and about again and actually see some people's faces in real time instead of over Zoom. So thank you all for coming. Definitely appreciate it. My name's Erica Stark from the National Hemp Association and also the Pennsylvania Hemp Industry Council. And I also serve as a co-chair of the Policy and Regulations Subcommittee of the Pennsylvania Hemp Steering Council. So there's a lot of exciting things going on. We're looking to, of course my phone rings at that moment. So we're looking to open up some grain markets here in Pennsylvania, primarily in pushing for getting hemp grain and post-extraction pulp material approved as animal feed for non-production animals. So meaning pets and exotic animals and things that are not destined for human consumption. We're also working on getting a hemp foods bill that would expressly authorize hemp to be allowed as an ingredient and impose some basic food safety standards on the industry, which I think everybody can agree would benefit consumers greatly. So those are some of the initiatives that we're working on. And Geoff can talk a little bit more about some of the fiber initiatives that we have going on. We're excited to have partnered with New Holland Agriculture again to grow some test plots. And we're growing 2 different varietals of fiber, Anka and Altair. They're about a month old now, and they're looking really good. And we successfully did them in a no-till environment, which is something that we've been greatly concerned on, because a lot of our initiatives on a federal level in talking to the new administration surround hemp's potential to help with climate initiatives. So we truly believe that hemp can play a role in all of the initiatives towards combating climate change, rebuilding infrastructure, and creating American jobs. And we've really been thrilled with the reception that we've gotten from all of the government agencies from the new administration, and we are excited to continue those conversations and hopefully get some public-private investment to help support grow the hemp industry. And with that, I will let Geoff speak.
Geoff Whaling. I am the chair of the National Hemp Association, and thanks to Facebook and other social media, I was reminded last week that I've been doing this for 5 years. Maybe 5 years too long for some people, but I've chaired the National Hemp Association for 4 years, and it's been my pleasure to do so. Erica and I started this with Les here in Pennsylvania, and certainly it's nice to see what's happening here in the Commonwealth as we're moving this industry forward. Erica is correct. We have had an incredible reception with the new administration. During the transition team asked us where hemp might fit into their priorities on climate. They sent us those 12 priorities, and we went back to them and said, sorry, we won't be able to fit all 12, but we can certainly fit 8 of them. And they were like, what? So we put together and submitted to the White House a National Hemp Association climate action plan. And since that, we know that that plan has been distributed throughout the administration. And certainly we're now being asked to not only update a lot of the agencies, but brief some of the new people that are coming in about the potential of hemp. And Erica's correct. They absolutely have been very responsive, and we think that we're going to see some initiatives very soon coming out of the administration. But one of the things we continue to do that's really important is to build the supply chain. Farmers are not going to grow hemp unless they know that there's a market, and end users are not going to look towards hemp, even for research purposes, unless there is that supply coming into them. So it's not a chicken and egg issue, it's a scrambled egg issue. And we work very hard at that. And just today, Cameron McIntosh and I came from an incredible opportunity that is now coming to Pennsylvania. Black Buffalo, which is a 3D printing initiative that is owned by Hyundai Industrial out of South Korea, advised me today that they have bought the former Pocono Airport. They will be making a multi-million-dollar investment to build their 3D printing facility there. That 3D printing facility will incorporate hemp into building individual homes with concrete and hemp, 3,500 square foot vertical walls in 30 hours. Cameron and I saw the proof of it today, so that is a step in the right direction. Not only will that get us to start looking at hemp being used as part of a residential development, but obviously the connection to Hyundai and the opportunity for bioplastics is also going to be there. Black Buffalo is also involved with us, with Alyssa and Penn State, in applying for a NIFA, National Institute of Food and Agriculture grant. It's a $10 million grant, 5-year study. We're going to be looking at, if we are awarded that grant, from seed to structure. So growing hemp, harvesting it, decortication, processing it to take to the construction industry. That announcement should come in the next few months, and we're very hopeful that that money is going to land here at Penn State and with our partners from New Holland. Brad Wenger has been driving the hemp initiative at New Holland, and we have been very appreciative of all of the work that they have been doing. So lastly, Black Buffalo has also made an investment in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. They are going to be contracting the Lidditz Rock Company to build their 3D printers so that they can go into a 45-foot tractor-trailer unit and go from construction site to construction site. So that is an example of the corporate investment that is coming to Pennsylvania, in part in thanks to all of the people here.
Thanks, Geoff. Dr. Collins?
Hey, thanks. Well, thank you all for coming today. This is the Penn State Research and Extension Farm. So some of you may never have been here before, and if that's the case, welcome. We don't just do hemp. We do a lot of different things, vegetables, corn, soybeans, things like that. But here today is about hemp. You know, last night I was thinking about why I like podcasts, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and part of that is because I travel a lot, and that helps pass the time. But podcasts really capture your attention in a way that music doesn't. It engages a part of your brain that's a little bit different. And for me, I really like podcasts because it kind of gets me to think about things in different ways and exposes me to new ideas. And I like that because I'm an academic, right? I'm an associate professor. Normally, associate professors are surrounded by other professors in all different fields, and you get this exchange of ideas. But I'm 2 hours south of main campus on a farm. It's a little different for me, right? So I like podcasts because they give me different ideas. And the Lancaster Farming Hemp podcast has given me lots of ideas. And I was thinking, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. As academics, people kind of look to you and say, what's the answer? Or tell us how to do this. But that is not what has happened in hemp, because we're all learning together. People in this room, so many of the people in this room have been the people that I have been learning from, that we have been exchanging ideas just like I would do with my academic buddies, except it's better because you've actually done the things. You know, Ben's over here, he has grown the hemp. He has turned it into products. They've done the things. Same with Steve. We've got all this expertise in Pennsylvania who's been working through this. And it's a really great place to be because of that. And I don't know if other states are like this. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I know I'm lucky to be here in Pennsylvania in this community of people who are working this problem. Recently I've been asked, oh, are you really disappointed about the fact that, you know, there was this market bust in 2019 with hemp, and maybe a lot of people who were interested in it before are not anymore? And I'm really not. And the reason is we've kind of let the dust settle on this. And the people who are still interested in it are the ones who are really interested in making it work and who have maybe more realistic expectations. And that's great to be able to work with. So the people who are left are the people who are going to make it work together. And that is the community that I want to be a part of. And I think that you will find a lot of folks in this audience among. So before I pass the mic, I do want to point out that there are a bunch of extension educators in this room who have been working on hemp. If any of you are interested in talking to them about various aspects of hemp, or some of the work that we're doing here at Penn State, we're happy to walk you down to one of the experiments we're doing and show you some hemp in the field, and get you in touch with, for instance, Geoff in the back is one of our extension educators who's been working very closely with Lancaster County farmers to grow hemp. Carla in the back is one of our extension educators who focuses on marketing. And man, do we have a lot of questions to answer in terms of hemp marketing. So we're really lucky to be having all these different foci of expertise among us and be able to work together to solve some of these problems that are now looking us right in the face, that didn't go away over these last 3 years. So thank you all for being here today. And please do approach us, and I will get you to the person that you might want to talk to that's here today. And again, we don't just do hemp, so if you ever want to come back and visit the flowers or the gardens or things like that, anytime dawn till dusk, June, July, and August, now that it's June 28th. Yay!
Well, good afternoon. Mark Lowery, and I'm Director of Commercial Marketing for New Holland Agriculture, and we'll echo a lot of the comments up here so far. First, just incredibly proud to sit with our headquarters in Pennsylvania. As we crossed the threshold of our 125th anniversary last year, we know that we're setting up for the next 125 years for our company. We've been ingrained with Pennsylvania and Lancaster County agriculture, and so much of what happens here helps to lead agriculture not only in our country, but as we're talking to colleagues in North America or globally, we think we have access to many of the practices that will be adopted elsewhere here. So feel very fortunate to be close to not only Penn State and their extension services here, because our connection to sustainability with Penn State runs pretty deep. In fact, the first leg of our journey started in 2008 with the certification of biodiesel in all of our engines globally, which was research done exclusively with Penn State that helped inform our sustainability vision moving forward. But we know that wasn't good enough. We need to continue to invest in sustainable technologies in order to continue the path toward our vision of an energy independent farm, which I think you'll hear more from New Holland about moving forward. But part of our effort here to wish Eric a safe and great journey on the hemp podcast is to help build the knowledge that folks have and the best practices and all the great things that this industry needs in order to be successful. But we want to be a part of that. Sustainability is one mission, but innovation is another. So as I talk about history, we were born based on innovation right here in Lancaster County. And we hope that innovations in the hemp industry and alternative crops will continue to build on the success we can have for the next 125 years, as I shared. But of course, it would be remiss without thanking the National Hemp Association for your partnership with us. Our brand leader and Vice President Brett Davis remains very, very committed to the hemp industry and continuing to make sure we have the right solutions for it. So Geoff mentioned Brad Wenger, who's in the back. I know many of you have talked to Brad. Amy Colbert here on my team in public relations. We continue to figure out how we can keep this at the forefront and look at this journey as the next link in the chain to continue that strong message. So we'll simply say thank you and pass on to the next very qualified speaker, but appreciate everybody's attendance today.
Hey, Mark. Mark, thank you. Honored to be here. I mean, I feel like we're at that moment when I can just envision sort of Lewis and Clark, right? We're going to send Eric across the nation to map this hemp industry, right? So you feel the pressure? Yeah. I'm envious, actually. I mean, when I think about your tour and where it's going to take you in this this tour of discovery, I mean, that's really what Lancaster Farming has done. And I give you a lot of credit because early on it was the conversations about what is this hemp industry? What does it look like? What's the potential? And then you found all of these amazing pieces, right, that paint this picture of potential. And that's what it is, right? It is, there's no book for us. We're all making up for 80 years of lost time. And we feel that pressure, right? To now be in a position where appropriately we are at a research farm. Because this is about research. This is about finding the right varieties. It's about finding the right agronomic principles. It's about finding the right processes that allow us to say this crop was here in a significant way in Pennsylvania. If you read the history, it was here. So the question of can it be here, can it grow here, has already been answered. The question is, can you put that in contemporary time? Can you put it in the fields of this state today? Can you put it in today's marketplace? Can you put it in the context of our issues of climate and environment and sustainability and the appetite that we see for this product? Can you do that today? That is a research question, right? That is what this is about. So appropriately here to talk about it, but it is all of this potential wrapped up in the conversation of hemp. I look to Erica and Geoff, and when I think of the pioneers, I mean the folks who and Les, I mean who came to us with the idea of hemp in Pennsylvania and our need for advocacy at the federal level, and then continue to stay involved, I look to them. They were the early pioneers and adopters. Who we've learned from. That doesn't mean in every conversation there is agreement, right? It's part of this discovery that you have to sort of get inside of the conversation and try to figure out what is the right policy for Pennsylvania. What does it look like for our farmers here in the state? And believe strongly from the day that we talked about hemp is it's got to work for seed, it's got to work for feed, it's got to work for fiber, right? And oil. And the CBDs, in my view, are a bonus. But it's got to work in the fields of Pennsylvania first as a crop that merits the and respects, I think, the machinery, the labor, the capital investments, the market channels that we have for Pennsylvania. But all of that is to say that it's potential here in this state. It is a new old crop. And these are the opportunities of a generation. How often do you get a chance to reset a conversation of a crop that was instrumental to the building of our nation? How often do you do that? This is the one. And when I think about, the construction industry, when I think about the bright minds at Jefferson, and Dr. Kendra, thank you, who are informing me, about what is in the textile engineering. I mean, there's so many things I haven't thought about, right? But making that work for Pennsylvania, I think, is the promise that we saw in 2014 and we continue to see in Pennsylvania. But to Dr. Collins' point, it is now for those who are here today, are those who are really committed to stay here in this industry. And I look around, thank you. I mean, there's a lot of private capital that is going into this. It's been a lot of citizen scientists who have tried to figure it out. There are folks who are pushing the boundaries in the marketplace in so many ways. We know that the next frontier for us is getting some of the federal changes to allow us to be in that marketplace without a lot of restriction, right? But that also means in reverse is that we have to give confidence to people who are buying and consuming this product that it is safe, that it lives within some boundaries, right? And be very honest about it. Having been on the receiving end of a lot of crop reports and analysis, is that the varietal research that Steve is doing and the Penn State is doing here is really critical, right? Because it begins with genetics. And then from that, you have confidence in the product itself, the derivatives of that product. But then I'm very particular about this. If it's going to end up in my food or my drink, I want to make absolutely certain it is living within in the boundaries of the Food and Drug Administration. I don't think that's unreasonable. No different for milk, no different for chocolate, no different for hemp. But that's where we need to get to, and pushing the boundaries with the FDA to give guidance, please. And where are those boundaries? That's the collective frustration. It's taken us too long to get to this point. So I could talk a while about this, but just to say, from my perspective, having the opportunity front side to hear Eric and Geoff and many others who were early visionaries about what the potential for hemp was and is in Pennsylvania, to then see it progress over the last 5 or 6 years, and every year incremental changes, right? But getting to a point where we have a lot of confidence in the product, a lot of confidence in the people. We continue to build out that supply chain. We continue to push the boundaries in terms of genetics and processing and marketing, and recognizing that there's tremendous opportunity in each of the sectors that I've talked about, from building to the food. But that doesn't happen just because you and I like it. That'll happen, if people invest in it, if we get the right policy to do it, if we have, major world headquartered manufacturers of equipment and all of the intellect that is there at New Holland as an example. But bringing all that together in furtherance of a hemp industry in Pennsylvania, and getting our both the producers to recognize its value and helping them like we do in other crops, building that supply chain, and ultimately getting the public to accept that this is a product with a lot of solutions and offers a lot of promise to them, right? Both in the environment and sustainability, but also from the point of food and nutrition and so many other things. So with that, Eric, good luck to you. I look forward to reading every Saturday. I'm informed now every Saturday I pick it up, but just look forward to following the trail, right, of what you will do, what you will learn. And I think we're the beneficiary of that, right? How many other states in this nation have a Lancaster Farming, which has a podcast and a talented staff who tells the story of agriculture every single week? Nobody. And Pennsylvania is the beneficiary of that, right? To every single week to have that story told, I think is a real gift to Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania agriculture. But it's also a tremendous vehicle to teach and to learn from all of what you will find across this state. So look forward to hearing about it. I look forward to seeing you in the exact same form when you return here, right? You're well nourished, you've got a big smile. But thank you. Thanks for doing it, Lancaster Farming. Thanks for what you're doing. Thanks.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you all for speaking. Are there any questions? Would you like to ask any questions to these folks? The first question wasn't really a question. It was more of a comment from Pennsylvania's very own hemp historian, Les Stark. You might remember him from the early episodes of this podcast. Anyway, he got up and he just talked about how much he liked the work that we're doing, and he's really proud of what's happening here in Pennsylvania. So that was great to hear. I didn't play his comment because the audio, he was not speaking into a mic, so I actually don't have the audio of what he said. But anyway, I can still feel the positive sentiment.
Thank you. Les Stark, Pennsylvania's own hemp historian. Thank you. All right, so question there, sir. Why was it made illegal 80 years ago? Anyone want to?
Never made illegal, prohibited. I think it's really important to make that case. So many people say it was made illegal. It was never made illegal. It was prohibited only because it did get in the way of some other industries. There was no way to tell the difference. There was no technology that allowed people to know the difference between marijuana and hemp. Certainly we all know that you used to be able to pay your taxes with hemp, but times had changed and it just got in the way of some other major emerging industries, and it was far easier to get rid of all cannabis, and so they prohibited hemp from growing. However, Erica and I have given the federal government, this administration, a challenge. We all have heard, and this heat certainly confirms to me, that we're in a bit of a climate crisis, an emergency. How was it, even though hemp was prohibited in 1939 and 40, the Department of Defense was able to bring it back in 1942 to meet the demands of a World War emergency? And the Department of Defense, not only because we couldn't import hemp that was needed for canvas and rope, we needed to produce it here in America. DOD produced a number of decortication plants across the country and produced 1 million acres of 200,000 acres of hemp with American farmers to produce the crops that we needed for the war. So we're now saying this is a climate crisis. What were the policies that allowed the DOD to bring this crop back? That would certainly help us deal with the challenges of building a supply chain. As Secretary Redding talked about, and I have to give him credit because he kept saying to me years ago, we need the research, Geoff. I now say that we're going to be in a research phase for 5 years. 10 years we'll start building a major industry based on that research. We have no decortication facilities, that necessary equipment to break this very tough crop apart. We don't have that can do it at scale, that can produce 5-10 tons an hour, which is what industry requires. So we hope that we will be able to get the help of DOD, the federal government, to help kickstart this industry again, so that we won't have to say that it was prohibited or banned, that in fact it's part of everyday life.
Amen to that. Thanks, Geoff. So I would like, are there any other questions? Anyone? No. Oh, there's a question. Hello.
And a woman from the audience asked a question about biofuels.
I had referenced biodiesel as an example of our commitment to sustainability.
This is Mark Lowery from New Holland Ag.
I'll share that we continue research in alternative fuels to propel our equipment as well. So although I'm not going to share anything at just this moment, you'll see some things that will be launched and will be available in North America from us later this year relative to alternative propulsion. But no, it continues to be important for us, just like the conversation here in hemp. How do we have alternative crops to help propel farms economically, sustainably, so that it really relates to our sustainable mission. But good question. More to come.
And then I took a few moments to thank our sponsors once again: New Holland Agriculture, National Hemp Association, Rosedowns, I&D Hemp, Terradon Hemp, Americhanvre Hemp, and King's Agriseeds.
We've had just great support for this whole thing, and very appreciative, humbled by all of this. It's a dream come true, and for me, it started as just a tiny little idea. Hey, I would like to make a podcast about hemp. And here we are, an idea with support from a loving community is really a wonderful thing.
Did you say you thought it was only going to be a few episodes?
Yeah, I thought I would talk about hemp for a few episodes, but we just published the 139th, and this will be the 140th, so. So thank you all for coming out today. I think we'll hang out for a little bit. You should definitely check out some of our people here. Steve Groff from Cedar Meadow Farms over there, and Ben and Cara from Wild Fox Provisions are here too. It's an amazing thing we have here in Pennsylvania. Like, our hemp industry is special, I know, right? And so I'm a proud Pennsylvanian, and I'm going out into the larger United States, going to tell our story. I'm going to pick up other stories, and we're going to weave this narrative together. And yeah, here we go. In a little while, my family, there's my wife Heather and my daughters Iris and Hazel. We're going to climb in. We'll move the RV over there, and I would like, if you could, just wave to us as we drive away. All right, thank you all for coming.
And just like that, it was over. And that's what we did. We climbed into the RV and we drove off into the sunset. Except the sun hadn't set yet, and I got like 10 minutes away and I got a text from my colleague Joe, and he said, "Hey, you left your GoPro camera here." So I had to turn around and go get that. But anyway, it was great to see everybody. Again, this work that I'm doing is dreamlike, and I am so grateful for the opportunity. And now I have to follow through on this, you know? There's a big task ahead of me, and I look forward to just doing it the best I can, and sharing these stories and shining a great big light on the fiber and grain industry, because, yep, you know why. All right, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit and read you the response I got from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture concerning those cease and desist letters that they sent to some CBD producers. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture's Bureau of Food Safety licenses and inspects companies that manufacture food and beverages in Pennsylvania, with the goal of ensuring that food is produced safely. Federal laws enforced by the FDA determine ingredients allowed in food and beverages. PA can only license companies to manufacture products that are legal under federal law. The FDA currently allows only hemp seed oil, and hemp seed protein powder as food and beverage additives. 4 companies recently received cease and desist letters after applying for licenses to manufacture only products containing CBD. Any company that applies for a license to manufacture items not allowable under federal law can expect consistent treatment. All right, so there you go. So by the time you hear this, I will be on the road heading south to North Carolina. I'm looking forward to meeting some great people out there. And I'm going to do my best to publish consistently every Wednesday, but I might be dropping episodes a little more sporadically. I don't know. I'm just going to make this up as I go and do the best job that I can with the tools that I have available. So, all right, thank you all for listening, and I look forward to bringing you on my journey. Oh, and one real quick story. So yesterday, I was talking to Ben and Cara Davies at the event, and they were going to give me CBD products to take with me on the road to use for, I have arthritis in my hip and all that sort of stuff, and driving, and it was great. And I was going to, talk about their products from the road, and then I drove away and forgot to pick those products up. But then on the way home, out on Route 222, headed north towards Reading, they passed me and waved, and my daughter in the passenger seat texted them for me from my phone, and we arranged sort of a rendezvous just before the Turnpike entrance. So that was fun. Thank you, Ben and Cara. Thank you for everything, and I'm looking forward to drinking that tea and using that tincture. So my name is Eric Herlock. I am the digital editor at Lancaster Farming Newspaper, the greatest agricultural newspaper in the world, but also I'm going to be an RV driver and intrepid reporter traveling all over the country. So until next time, I'll see you on the road.
Industrial Hemp.
Episode 140 of the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast is copyright 2021 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, which is part of the Steinman Communications family. Today's show was written and recorded, edited and produced by yours truly, Eric Herlock. The music you hear throughout the show is courtesy, as always, of Tin Bird Shadow. And just a heads up, if you're not following Tin Bird Shadow on Instagram, maybe you want to, because there's about to be some interesting content happening there over the course of this trip. Wait, is Tin Bird Shadow going on the trip too? Oh my goodness, this thing just keeps getting weirder.
Industrial Hemp.